He made it back. I watched him on television last night. The president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, David Chartrand.
How are you doing, Ray?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm sitting in a little tiny room here, so I had to get some. I don't know if it sounds too echoey. Tell me if it does. Otherwise, my voice is coming clear. Tell me it's okay.
It's a little echoey, but we can understand you.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm doing very well. We're still in Rome. Yesterday, we went to NCI, it's called, to visit the grave sites of our veterans. There was 68 buried there. There was a total of 7,000 killed. On that particular graveyard, there was 68 Canadians and 4 Manitobans. So we went and paid tribute to them yesterday and laid the Manitoba flags in front of their graves. And we had Archbishop Gagnon make prayers for all veterans. And it was a very beautiful sight. And Ray, as I said before, I visited many graveyards and military graveyards in Europe, and they're meticulous, absolutely meticulous. This one had, I forgot the name of the plant, but it's like lilacs, and they had them all over, and it's sort of like walking down an aisle of lilacs above your head and looking at all the different designs around the graveyard just to make it more beautiful. You can see they take good care of our lost soldiers that are out here in foreign soil. So I just want to express that again. We went and made prayers there. But the big event was meeting with the Pope on April 21st. That was a very, very big moment for the River Métis, and on behalf of all Métis in Manitoba, we carry ourselves with great pride and dignity. And as we walked, and we surprised everybody inside there. Actually, Ray's health is bothering. You can tell he's limping lots, bent over. He's 85 years old, and I think he has problems with his knees. So when you watch him come in, I got a little bit worried because he had a hard time going up a couple steps. But otherwise, once he was in his seat, in his chair, and then the procession started with us doing opening prayer with Archbishop Gagnon, and then Chalida did the prayer because Verna de Monte was supposed to be coming as the elder, and she was going to read the prayer in the chip, but she got COVID, and she was so devastated she couldn't come. Then when she was about ready to come, then her husband got COVID, so she couldn't come at all. And so, but I bought her a special gift because she couldn't be here, so I just want to make sure that Verna knows we didn't forget her, although she couldn't come. So it was a great opportunity for the rest of the people that were here. However, July did a great job on her behalf. And so what happened, Ray, is that we had 5 speakers plus myself. We had a youth, we had survivors, we had knowledge keepers and elders that spoke. And the Pope paid very close attention. In fact, we were very taken by the cabinet was very taken by the position of the Pope. He read our material for sure, because we pre-sent our materials to him, advising him who the River Métis are, and we told him we're a maternal nation. And he took real, obviously, care towards that. And Archbishop told me later that he had a very strong relation to his grandma. So I guess when he read our articles about maternal nation, that where our mothers are very strong in our nation, in our culture. And so he referenced that in his closing remarks. So all of us were just smiling because that really means you better materials, you better stuff. And then he also spoke about sharing and caring, which we put in our materials. That's the type of culture we have. And he made reference to that. But he also talked about Cain and Abel, and Cain, of course, being one that killed his brother. And he referenced the issue of Cain. There's more Cain-like activities in the world. And he was referring, I guess, maybe to Ukraine and a few other things that are happening all over the world, where you see so many innocent people being killed today, and it worries him a lot. And so we took very caution to his words, and, we referenced that, he's not far away from being concerned. He should be concerned as the holiness, because you have Putin rattling around a nuclear weapon threat to the world, and if that ever happened, there'd be millions and millions and tens of millions of people killed and dead, and it'd be devastation in the world. So he referenced that. It must be bothering him in the back of his mind, and so he referenced that in closing remarks with us. And but then he did something that you wouldn't expect him to be doing, because as holiness, we go to him and ask him to pray for us. he turned to us and he said, I feel I accept the shame that we have to accept on behalf of the church. I also accept the ownership of responsibility of what happened, and I want to ask for the Red River Métis forgive us, forgive what we've done, and forgive me for as the leader, I guess, of the Vatican and the leader, and we called him actually the Dorian gave him a good name. He said he's the Pope of God first, obviously, by the way he sounds, and the Pope of the Vatican second. So because he actually said, I'd ask you to pray for me. So, you expect us to ask him to pray for us. And he turned to us and he said, I'm asking the Reverend Métis to pray for me. And so you can tell he's wearing that heavy in his heart, what had happened and the suffering of so many. And so when he comes to Manitoba, we anticipate he'll be coming this summer. I did make a very solid case why he should come to Manitoba and to visit Riel's gravesite and bless it, and the strong connection we have with the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church also, going back to 1817 when we did a petition to get the churches to be built in the prairies. So we gave him a scroll, a time scroll, and we'll put that in our website. It talks about from 1816, our first battle, and the petition 1817, 1819, the first church being built, and on and on and on of our relationship with the church. And so we give a time history. And we also had it translated in Spanish, and which he read some of it as I was speaking, and you could see him nodding his head. So, we touched him for sure. I had him laughing a little bit at the end. He had a big smile for me and some laughter because I forgot my pen. Because what Ray did is he bought our self-government agreement for him to bless, because he's going to put it in our museum, in our Heritage Center, and it was bound in beautiful letter casing, and it'll be officially in the Heritage Center. It was blessed by the Pope. It was also signed by the Pope, but he took it back from us because he wasn't supposed to sign anything. But I wasn't asking him to sign it. I was going to sign my name so he can bless it. He took the pen from me and he signed it. And but now they're concerned because people need to understand he's like a king. We'll call it a king because he's a head of state. And the Vatican actually is its own country. And so the Vatican and Canada have a relationship and agreement, and he has that kind of relationship with the rest of the countries in the world as a country himself. So when he did that, they were all in panic mode. He signed a document which they didn't read. But it was a whereas clause, and it basically just confirming the agreement. But he blessed all four documents, and it touched our hearts, all of us. So touched me as a leader, and as here's the Vatican coming out of its way to, and the Pope himself. And then I forgot my pen, and then I had to call me back to get my pen. I was just so nervous. I forgot the pen, and he just started laughing at me and everything. So because he didn't speak to us in English, he had a translator. Said some words, but very small. And so, but he did something. He shocked all of the archbishops and the cardinals in there. He actually invited every one of the delegates to come forward. He shook everyone's hand, spoke to them briefly, and gave everyone rosaries. And it was really a surprise for the archbishops. They never saw that. Usually he doesn't do that because he only shakes the dignitaries' hands and then he bows to all the others. But he shook every one of the Red River Métis that were there. Wow. And you should have seen the tears pouring down the eyes of many. Barbara, for example, Fleury just broke down right there and couldn't believe that the Pope shook her hand and gave rosaries and blessed her. So it was such a hard feeling to hear. We did shed a tear when Andrew gave his presentation because he talked about what happened to him as a child, as a 7-year-old boy in a church, and that really hurt everyone in the room. But you see the Pope, he was paying very good attention to it, watching him and nodding his head to him, and then that's when I think he asked us to pray and forgive him. And so when you look at all of these things, Ray, it was a great, great event. We also went to, it started off, we had Mass first at the Basilica of the St. Mary Maggiore. And Ray, what that is actually is the church was built in 437 AD, 437 years after Jesus was born, and was to give sainthood in honor of of course, the Virgin Mary, because it took that long before they finally gave recognition to her as a saint. And so the church was built on her behalf over 1,600 years ago. So apparently the Pope has a strong affection to this one. It's one of the 4 churches that people come and tour the most. But this particular church, this Pope has a strong conviction too. Before he travels anywhere, since he's been there, 9-10 years now, he always goes in there to pray. And unexpectedly, he just walks in. And, the priest that's praying or holding the ceremony or doing these things, they're not even told. They're just in shock when the Pope comes walking in. And he comes to pray before he leaves on international travel. And he has a particular affiliation to this church. Also, in this church, Ray, the crib of Jesus that was in the manger. It's actually inside the church. We had a chance to see it. And also remnants of the cross where Jesus was crucified. That's also in the church. So it was a beautiful event that took place there with archbishops both leading the ceremony. And then we also went back the next day again to same church. And so as I said, this was news to everybody. And I told most media outlets, this is something you could have that nobody knows about, is that the Pope actually comes into this church unexpectedly and shocks everybody when he does that. So it is a beautiful, beautiful church, Ray. We must have visited at least 10, 15 churches by now, and I prayed in every one of them. I prayed for our little Métis Nation at home, and prayed for those that are sick, and those that I know that are in hospitals. So those that I don't know about yet, but those lost loved ones. So we are doing our part here as a delegation, going out and doing our prayers and ceremonies. Tomorrow we go to a country to see another church, not a country, a city. It's a 3-hour drive, and then we'll fly home from there the next day. So but we're going to see that beautiful church out there, and I'm just proud of our delegation and the conviction they have to make sure they go to the churches and pray. So Ray, we have tons of pictures and tons of information. Maybe I'll come live on the show next Saturday and give an update of really what happened. People can phone in, ask questions if they want, and it was unbelievable. It was something I'll never forget the rest of my life, and that's one of my treasures I'll have is being a leader. And I was very nervous, Ray, meeting him. I'm not nervous, I speak in front of thousands and thousands all over the world.
Right.
But this one, I was very nervous, and I wanted to make sure I did the best that I can. And after I heard the repeat from everybody else, and all the nice, beautiful texts from people back home and emails, thanking us and congratulating the Métis and non-Métis, giving us congratulations from back home. It was beautiful to hear. And so many are proud of what took place here, and the Métis Nation should be very proud. So, Ray, again, I'll stop on that important news there that happened. But let me share with you some of the stuff that is happening at home that I got to be involved in. There's happy birthday going to Emerson K4. I think it's the right Norman Allard's grandson. Happy 48th birthday is going to Kat Patino. Media Relations Advisor was celebrating her birthday on Tuesday, April 26th. She never told me anything about that, so I have to buy her something. That's why she put her name here. She's here with us, and she's doing a good job. And with so much media array, every newspaper, international, Italian, Portuguese newspapers, articles are here all over Canada. And Kat did a perfect job on that. So I'll have to buy her something special tomorrow. Happy 61st birthday going to Bobby's church out in Swan River. Happy birthday, Bobby, a trapper and one of the hardest working guys I know in the bush. I'd like to tramp and always be proud of being Métis. So, but Ray, I can assure you that the delegation here is so working so hard. And the youth here, Ray, we've got quite a number of different youth, and every one of them are all chipping in to help out, Like the shorty elders are there that they can walk. Some of our people had our time walking. These are long walks, Ray. I check my steps. I think I'm doing 14,000 steps, and my legs are aching. And some of the older gentlemen here, they couldn't do it anymore. They're really hurting their legs, and so our youth were just jumped at the opportunity right away, side by side, making sure everybody's taken care of. So I want to congratulate all the youth that took care of our elders out here. So, Ray, I want to say again, when I talk about the Anfield Cemetery, I hope we can fly to Manitobans with the 4 of them. It'll be in a video because when's the last time we ever visited the Italian grave sites? Many of our Canadian delegations always visit the Vimy or the Juno Beach or those different the cemeteries in different parts of Europe. But I don't think many come to Italy. So I hope we did great service to our country of Canada and also to the Métis Red River. And as you know, the veterans play a very pivotal role in my mind and my heart. So it was great for us to be out there, and I thank Mark Leclerc for arranging all of this and organizing it. And it was just, I'm going to go home with a big smile in my heart, a big pride in my heart at the same time. So I can't say enough how much this trip means to me. I'll be home. I can't wait to get home also. On the other side of it, I want to get back to the office and get things going again. We've got so much on the go at home. But I'll give you guys a better report on the update of that. But I just want everybody to know at home, it's a proud moment for the historic Métis. And we go back over 200 years with the church. And it shows again that my fingers are crossed. I hope he chooses Manitoba. I want to also take this opportunity to congratulate Phil Fontaine. I actually said that to the media yesterday. People may have not, but Phil Fontaine actually was, I would say, the pivotal time in the history of Canada changing the direction on the residential school, where he came forward and admitted and advised what had happened to the child and the impact, of course, it had on him. It shocked everybody in Canada, and at the same time, he brought awareness to the issue. And it's from there, it's been like a forest fire burning right through. So, and then on top of that, you find the mass graves, all of these other hardships that are still out there. There's a lot of healing that's going to happen. But our message again was hope and renewal, revitalization. And it's like I told my granddaughter, if there's ever a war, my baby, if there's ever a nuclear war, it's even worse. We're going to be desperate to find priests to help us in our grieving. Because right now, for example, look at Ukraine, they're just throwing them in mass graves, and there's not even a service, no prayers. There's going to be a big hole in many hearts, because the proper way of sending their loved ones to the next world usually has to do with a church or a prayer or a priest. So there's going to be important times for us as we move forward in renewal and hope. And I think that the Pope said it very clear to us. He wants to walk with us. And he wants to make sure that he's going to be there to support us, and we'll be there to support him. So again, Ray, we'll talk to you guys next Saturday. I think, as I said before to all of our elders, I prayed for many. I bought many different people asking for some stuff. I bought rosaries and some holy water and different things from the different churches and also from Vatican. So I'm looking forward to giving those out to some of our elders, and the holy water for those that are in need. Missy Fleck can tell you that she believes it saved her father. When I was at the Vatican in 2009, I bought holy water at home, and Missy's father got sick, and she asked me if I bought any water, and she came and bought it, and she used it in the hospital with her dad, and dad got better. She strongly believes in that. So, I was very proud of hearing Missy Fleck's story to me telling me that holy water works. So again, for everybody at home, we think you're proud, and I can't wait to get back home to the office and get back to work and continue the journey with the church and move forward. So again, thank you all, and keep up the good work, Ray. And I did pray for you, Ray. Just so you know, even you, Cowboy. I didn't forget you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Prayed for you, Ray, and I actually said, and also Cowboy Carl.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'm serious. I did in the church. I actually prayed with you and talked about Ray, and I know Ray's aging, and I want to make sure that I said prayers his way. So again, thank you all again for listening to our show. And as I said, you can hear the excitement in my voice, and I can't wait to get on to tell the story. There'll be a lot of pictures and videos on our website that people get to see. They'll feel like they're part of it when they start looking at the videos and the pictures and be part of our Métis government. So I'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
All right, thanks, David. Have a safe trip.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. David Chartrand, the president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, over in Rome, where he called us from.
That's right. All the way from Rome, Italy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.